The Galactic Court was not meant for ordinary matters, and everyone inside knew it. The hall was shaped like a massive circular arena, with thousands of floating seats arranged layer by layer upward. Blue holographic panels displayed laws, charges, verdicts, and ancient symbols that only the highest civilizations understood. The air itself felt thick with judgment, and silence filled the space except for distant mechanical hums. In the center stood a human, Elias Gray. He was young, not more than 25, and he looked small compared to the towering alien guards around him. A single spotlight shined down on him, isolating him before every star system represented in that hall. His wrists had glowing cuffs, not metal, but energy bands that tightened whenever he moved. Elias was accused of stealing and activating the Celestial Core, an artifact older than recorded galactic history. The claim spread through the galaxy within hours. News broadcasts showed Elias being escorted by alien soldiers. Commentators laughed at humanity's arrogance. Entire civilizations mocked Earth, saying humans were emotional, weak, and never meant to stand among greater species. Now, he stood in front of thousands of alien representatives. On raised platforms sat members of 14 different ruling empires, each powerful enough to destroy dozens of planets. They looked down at him with cold eyes. Above them floated the High Judge platform. The High Judge, Elder Sarin, spoke first. His voice vibrated through the entire chamber, as if the walls themselves obeyed him. Elias Gray of Earth. You are charged with theft of sacred property, activation of forbidden technology, and attempting to claim guardianship over an artifact that predates your species. A chorus of alien voices echoed in agreement. Some hissed, some clicked their mandibles, some simply stared with glowing eyes. Elias did not look down. He simply stood still. You entered an excavation chamber on the planet Valora Prime, the judge continued. You touched the relic. You awakened it. You disturbed cosmic equilibrium. How do you plead? Elias answered softly, but clearly, I never touched the relic. His voice did not shake, and that irritated the council instantly. The entire room buzzed with disbelief and mockery. Screens zoomed in on his face. Millions across different star systems watched the trial live. Streamed reactions filled the air. Humans always deny. Primitive species thinks it can lie. Send him into the void. Two alien prosecutors stepped forward. One was tall and crystalline, his body glowing like molten glass. The other had smooth gray skin, long arms, and cold silver eyes. The prosecutor spoke. There are observers who saw you near the relic chamber. There are footprints. There are energy recordings. And most important, we have the artifact itself. Gasps filled the room. Soldiers marched in, carrying a transparent container floating above 4 grav pads. Inside lay a golden, sphere-like object, covered in ancient runes. The moment it appeared, everyone stood up. Even the High Judge rose. The Celestial Core had not responded to anyone for thousands of years. Entire empires tried to study it. None succeeded. Now, that relic rested in the center of the courtroom. The prosecutor tapped a panel, and the container unlocked. Something changed instantly. The artifact pulsed with soft light. The glow spread outward like slow-moving waves of fire. Light floated across the floor, across the platforms, across the guards. The entire courtroom dimmed, as if shadows retreated from it. Elias blinked but did not step back. Every alien stared at him. The prosecutor stepped away in fear. And then, the relic floated upward without any visible support. Gasps suddenly turned into silence. No sound. No movement. Just the relic, drifting. It rotated slowly in the air, and every rune carved into it brightened, one by one, forming patterns none of the researchers had ever decoded. The energy cuffs around Elias dissolved on their own. Not broken, simply deactivated. Guards raised weapons, trembling. Someone shouted, "Move him away from it." But no one dared step closer. The relic glowed brighter. Light stretched toward Elias like thin strands of gold. Some in the crowd believed it was attacking him. Others whispered it might be choosing something. The courtroom lighting flickered. Screens turned static. Air vibrated like low thunder. In that moment, the artifact stopped moving. It paused exactly in front of Elias, as if waiting. The high judge slowly lowered his voice and commanded, "Do not move." Elias remained still. The relic released one more pulse, soft, steady, and everything in the hall froze. Weapons shut down. Defense fields turned off. Energy locks disabled. One alien scientist whispered, "This cannot be happening. It reacts only to a guardian bloodline. A concept older than all empires." The trial was no longer about guilt. The galaxy just witnessed something they refused to believe. A human was chosen. And at that moment, no one knew whether he was chosen to protect the galaxy or judge it. The artifact hovered silently in front of Elias, suspended in the air like it had chosen its own laws of physics. The entire council remained frozen, not in code or biology, but in disbelief. Never in their recorded history had the celestial core moved on its own, not for emperors, not for ancient bloodlines, not even during the wars that nearly destroyed half the known worlds. Elias did not reach for it. He simply watched it float, glowing with shifting patterns of gold and sapphire colors. The symbols etched into its surface rearranged themselves like living circuits, forming patterns that no scholar had ever translated. One alien scientist whispered, voice shaking, "It is awakening." The soldiers near Elias stepped backward. Weapons lowered. Fear grew like thick fog. Then, without warning, the relic emitted a soft, ringing tone, a sound that vibrated through the air like a heartbeat. The golden light stretched outward and projected a circular plate beneath it, a platform made of pure energy. The floor formed a path straight to Elias' feet. The high judge rose and pointed his staff. "No further movement. Do not." Before he finished, the relic released another pulse. Every screen around the hall flickered and changed images. The live broadcast warped. Holographic streams showed visions of space covered in fire, planets consumed by darkness, fleets collapsing under an invisible force. No sound accompanied the visuals. It was silent destruction. Then the relic projected very old words in an unknown tongue. The translation units failed. Alien translators panicked. Linguistic AIs crashed. The high judge shouted, "Shut it down." No one could. No machine responded. Suddenly, the relic changed its glow, bright white, then dimmed into calm golden light again. A deep hum resonated through the chamber. Something ancient was speaking. Not with sound, but with presence. The energy around the artifact pulled forward until Elias' hand was gently lifted by force, not painful, but impossible to resist. His palm touched the glowing surface. The courtroom gasped as one. The moment his skin met the relic, every light in the chamber shut off. Darkness. For 3 full seconds, nothing existed. Then came the vision. The relic flooded the chamber with light and covered the walls with holographic images. A massive race of tall beings with glowing eyes, creating star systems. Cities floating on rings of light. Armies battling a shadow-like entity that consumed whole sectors. A protector standing between galaxies, holding the same relic now touching Elias' hand. The protector did not look like any species present today, but their features resembled humanity more than anything else. A wave of energy spread outward and whispered through their minds, not in speech, but in meaning. Protector identified. Guardian bloodline confirmed. Every alien present stood silent. The relic projected new light, brighter than before, forming a shield around Elias. The holographic figures bowed toward him and vanished. And the chamber lights came back on. Elias stood still. His eyes reflected the golden glow like fragments of stars. He did not fall. He did not panic. He whispered only 4 words. I saw the truth. No one understood what he meant. The high judge broke the silence. This court cannot declare guilt now. The relic has chosen. Shock moved through every platform. The prosecutor stepped forward. But he cannot be given authority. He is untrained. Primitive. Weak. The relic responded instantly. A small beam of light shot downward, striking the floor. Symbols formed beneath Elias' feet, matching the ancient visions. The council scrambled. The crowd whispered. Entire broadcast channels were exploding in live reactions. One scientist approached cautiously, pointing instruments at Elias. This is impossible, he muttered. His biology has changed. It was true. Subtle lines of golden light now pulsed through the veins near Elias' wrist. The relic had marked him. Suddenly, the chamber doors opened, revealing a group of elite guards wearing shimmering armor. Unlike standard soldiers, their designs carried ancient markings similar to the relic. One bowed and spoke. The guardian chamber has awakened. It seeks the chosen one. The council reacted in panic. No human may enter. He could activate dormant systems. He can command ancient fleets. Do not allow this. Elias remained calm. I want answers, he said quietly. The relic pulsed once, and the chamber lights dimmed again, just enough to signal agreement. The guard leader stepped aside and pointed at a gateway, an arch that had been sealed for millennia. The council had no authority now. The relic's decision overruled theirs. Elias stepped toward the gateway. Every alien watched him, not as a criminal, but as something terrifying. A human chosen by a force older than galaxies. And as he passed under the arch, the shields activated, sealing behind him. The ancient system spoke only to him now. Whatever the relic awakened, it was no longer silent. It had chosen. The archway sealed behind Elias with a sound that resembled heavy stone grinding, though nothing physical had moved. The walls around him shimmered like liquid metal, glowing faintly with the same symbols that had appeared on the relic. The chamber beyond was enormous, larger than any cathedral, longer than any starship's throne hall. The air hummed, almost alive. Elias walked slowly, his footsteps echoing softly on the polished black floor. His reflection followed beneath him, fractured by the golden lights floating along the walls. As he moved deeper, the relic hovered beside him, not touching, not pulling, just following like a silent companion. A low voice resonated from the chamber walls. Not spoken aloud, not from an external source, but directly in his mind. The protector returns to the Hall of Origin. Elias froze. I am not a protector, he whispered. The relic pulsed once, almost correcting him. Light swept across the room like rippling water, revealing towering pillars carved with scenes of war, creation, and destruction. Each pillar held ancient images of beings resembling humans, yet taller, radiant, and crowned with energy armor. Their eyes emitted the same golden glow Elias now carried in faint traces. He approached one pillar that showed a single guardian standing before an army of shadow-like creatures. The guardian held the celestial core, the same relic now floating next to him. He reached out and touched the engraving. Immediately, the floor beneath him ignited with patterned circles. The entire chamber rearranged. Platforms rose, walls folded into new shapes, and a large circular table emerged. Around the table appeared ghost-like silhouettes, echoes of past guardians. Their voices overlapped into one unified tone. A threat returns. The rift rises. The protector must prepare. Elias swallowed. What threat? Why me? A projection formed, showing space tearing open like a wound. Dark matter storms, consuming stars, ripping planetary atmospheres away. Ships disintegrating in mere seconds. The voice responded. Because only the bearer of our bloodline can interface with the Forgotten Forge. The relic glowed, and the ground beneath his feet opened into a spiral stair leading downward. The chamber revealed tunnels carved from light itself. Elias hesitated. I am just human. The voice answered. Humans were made to inherit the mantle we left behind. His chest tightened. He was never special, just a child from Earth who studied archaeology. He never held power, never commanded forces, never imagined he would stand in a hall that remembered someone like him millions of years ago. He stepped down. At the bottom stood a vast command throne, not like a chair, not like a captain's seat, but a living structure grown from golden crystalline tissue. When Elias approached, the relic flew ahead, sinking into the top of the throne like a key entering a lock. The entire structure awakened. Columns of light shot upward through the ceiling. A humming force spread through the chamber and beyond, into the court, into the galactic broadcasting signal, across thousands of star systems. Alien spectators panicked. Worlds paused. Armies halted mid-training. Everyone witnessed lights activating that no living empire had ever seen. Logos, ancient insignias, appeared across the galaxy on communication networks. For the first time in history, those symbols translated. The Guardian Protocol is restored. Elias stood still as energy rose around him. Armor formed, not metal, not cloth, but energy shaping itself around his shoulders, arms, and chest. It moved like water, settling like skin. The throne spoke gently. Do not fear. Power is not given to rule. It is given to protect. He sat. The energy locked into him. Suddenly, the chamber expanded into a projection of space. Not real space, hidden space. Thousands of ancient starships lay dormant in cosmic silence. Each ship larger than modern war fleets. Each able to darken suns. They were asleep. Waiting for a command. Waiting for a guardian. Elias whispered. What am I supposed to do with all this? The throne reacted. You do not start war. You prevent the collapse. Images unfolded. Worlds swallowed by dark anomalies. Civilizations vanishing. Structures bending into spirals. Signals screaming into the void. A countdown appeared. Not planetary. Not governmental. Universal. 22 cycles until the rift would breach galaxies. Elias finally understood. Judgment had never been about guilt. It was about readiness. He stood from the throne. Humanity was not chosen because of history or arrogance. It was chosen because it was the last surviving bloodline capable of activating what others could not. He walked back toward the chamber exit. He did not walk like a prisoner anymore. Not like an accused human. But like someone who carried the fate of galaxies inside his hands. The burden was now his. And the galaxy, for the first time in thousands of years, felt nervous. The chamber doors parted as Elias stepped out again, but this time the entrance no longer resembled an arch, now it glowed with flowing inscriptions that reacted to his heartbeat. The council members had not moved since he entered the Guardian Hall. Their expressions changed, not anger, not disbelief, but caution. The High Judge rose slowly, leaning on his ceremonial staff. Human Elias Gray, what has awakened in the deep corridors? Elias did not answer immediately. His eyes glowed faintly, traces of gold pulsing beneath them like soft embers. He carried the calm presence of someone who had seen something beyond comprehension. Finally, he said. There is a threat coming. A fracture in space. The rift. Murmurs spread, followed by immediate panic in the lower sections of the court. Delegates attempted to connect to their command fleets, but every network showed the same response. Guardian priority override active. No ship could launch without Guardian clearance. No automated defense system could activate. No military command could issue red alert. The Guardian Protocol had authority across all civilizations. Elias stepped down the platform. The relic orb hovered behind him like a silent sentinel. A elder from the dragon-scale dominion spoke first. If the rift rises again, then everything collapses. Our empire lost half its planets the last time. A crystalline ambassador added. The old records warned us that if the relic ever awakened, the galaxy would face final dissolution. Elias turned toward the court. I did not choose this. But I know the timeline. We have 22 cycles. Gasps echoed. Some fainted. Some slammed their fists. One delegate shouted. We demand command access. The Guardian cannot stand alone. The relic pulsed once in rejection. Elias continued. The Guardian does not rule over others. The Guardian prevents collapse. To stop the rift, I need the location of the oldest anomaly point. An archive screen opened itself without touch. Data surfaced instantly, thousands of unsealed warnings, sealed coordinates, erased maps. Files buried beneath political secrecy. Everything was visible now. The Council no longer controlled information. The coordinates centered around a region of dead space, no stars, no light, no navigation markers. Only a void. Elias pointed at the map. That is where I must go first. The High Judge nodded slowly. A path to death for anyone else. But not for me, Elias answered. A pathway opened at the floor level, revealing a descending passage leading to a hangar platform. No guards guided him. No one blocked his path. The council parted, forming a silent corridor of respect and fear. At the bottom of the passage sat a ship, unlike anything present civilizations built. The vessel's hull reflected faint gold light, shaped like flowing geometry rather than metal sheets. Its engines resembled crystalline spirals rather than machinery. This was a Guardian ship. Dormant for millions of years. Waiting. When Elias stepped near it, the ship awakened. Lights rose across its surface. Energy lines flickered like veins. The entrance opened without command. Inside, the interior hummed with warm ambient glow. Not cold steel, living light. A voice spoke again, through the ship itself. Protector, your passage into the rift begins here. Elias placed his hand on the console. The entire vessel responded instantly. The relic merged into the ship's central cradle, powering it at full resonance. Screens formed around him, not traditional displays but transparent floating windows showing data from distant sectors. Collapsing star systems. Strange gravitational tiers. Unregistered signals. At the edge of the galaxy, a distorted shape appeared in the data, something large feeding on radiation fields. The ship lifted automatically, without propulsion sound, weightless. The hangar floor retracted, revealing space. As the ship exited the structure, millions watched from across star systems through live transmission. Some knelt. Some saluted. Some remained frozen. One broadcast commentator whispered. The Guardian has awakened again. But now the Guardian is human. Elias stood on the command bridge, watching space widen into view. Stars stretched outward, forming paths of light. Before entering hyperspace, he sent one message through all channels. Do not prepare for war. Prepare for survival. Then the ship vanished into a burst of silent light. Not warp. Not jump. Something older. Something that only the relic could activate.